Добър вечер. Това е третата подред лекция на български от фондация Keshe. Понеже в събота имах малко проблеми с интернета, ще направим лекцията днес в понеделник, 5 декември. И ще започнем с промоционалното видео на фондацията.
You are people listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever, maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nano-technology, the nano-material which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, it's very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now you can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. You are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it, you are structuring it, and from today we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working round the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
Добър вечер на тези, които тук ще се присъединиха. Hey, Jackie.
Hello, Nikolai. Hello, everybody.
Yes. Някой
Do
да
you
има
want
някакви
I play it?
въпроси?
Perhaps the quality will be better.
What did you ask me? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said, do you want I play in my side because sometimes the subtitles are not coming well in your side.
Okay, no problem.
You want
Should I make
I try?
Are you gonna do it or should I make a co-host?
No, it's okay, no problem.
Okay. I just want to ask everyone if there's any questions and we can
Yeah.
continue. Добър вечер на всички. Ако някой има някакви въпроси, може да дигне ръка и да задава, да не е само единствено прямо по темата. Тази вечер ще разглеждаме третата лекция за деца. И след това може да задавате въпроси, ако имате нещо предварително да кажете, може да се включите. Добре, мисля, че няма никой не дига ръка. Тогава ще продължим с лекцията. Jackie, you can start with the lecture. Video.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Let me know when if you want I stop sometimes. Okay.
Okay, of course. Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
I don't hear anything.
Let me share again. It'll be better with the sound, no?
Yes.
Sorry for that.
No problem.
Here we go.
Okay.
Of the Spaceship Institute, and
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Okay, excellent.
he'll be showing us things, the wonders of the universe, brought to us with the eyes of a child, basically. And we'll continue on with what we learned last week with how things are created in the universe and how the magnetic plasma and fields interact. I think we're ready to go. Kevin, would you like to say something to add to this workshop at this point?
Advice for myself is that I learned, because, you know, Mr. Keshe said something really fundamentally important. He said that all is interconnected. And, well, and I learned, you know, how magnetic fields either repel or attract one another. Of course, I would be more, you know, more curious about knowing why, but you know, it's the beginning. So it's really hard, you know, from a matter-based scientific perception to a non-matter, and I think that's the problem a lot of people have. This is, I think, what Mr. Keshe means when he says, you know, people cannot accept their own existence. So, yeah, maybe we can go along those lines. But thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, you're welcome. See if we can enlighten you a little bit further today. I received some emails that the adults learn more from the children.
You're breaking up, Mr. Keshe. Hello?
Okay, for the folks on live stream, we seem to have a bit of a problem with the connection at the Spaceship Institute. We just lost them temporarily.
As long as Mr. Keshe is not online again, I mean, would you have a position on that? What I just said, Rick? I mean, do you agree with me with the fundamental questions that, you know, that arise for a lot of people?
What are the questions?
Oh,
Yeah, could you repeat that, Kevin?
You're lost, but you're still on planet Earth.
No, I'm expecting like a state of evolution any minute or any second right now, and it's happening, and it's when I listen to all those workshops, not only this one but the other ones I told previously, Rick, is that it's going fast and faster. This is really what you mean probably by saying never in the history of mankind has been so much knowledge and science and technological understanding be transferred. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, your generation and my generation, and maybe in some cases our parents' generation, are the only generation in mankind who speaks about current and voltage and all sorts of things. So if you would have spoken to our great-grandfathers, they would have said, atom, what? Or they would have said, no, nothing is there. It's just it's a fantasy and it's all lies. It's our generation who has come to see more and understand more with a new line of communications. I've said this before. It's what we can accept according to our own understanding. When I was in Tehran 5 years ago, a guy said, my father, when he came from Moscow about 50, 60 years ago plus, and he said, in Russia, they have a metal which flies. And everyone said, you're crazy, this is impossible, you're going mental going to Russia and coming back. And after a couple of years, they saw that metal bird, we call it aeroplane, appeared in Tehran. So it's what we have accepted, which is the difficult part to reject, because otherwise we have to admit in our own shortcoming and not understanding the totality. And this is one of the reasons we do these programs for children, is that we put the right seed of understanding of the creation, physics, chemistry, biology, that when they are taught other lines, they become judge of the knowledge themselves. And this is the whole thing. You said to just at the beginning how the field interacts, what is gravity and what is not. If we look at this set of magnets, these are series of magnets put together to make like a field of magnetic field. So what happened in this thing? One of the reasons Shakespeare's his brother is near here, so he's trying to play with it. So what happened is that the field, looks like a elongated plasma. It's more like a ray of light, because ray of light is a plasma too. So what happened, this ray of magnetic field coming out of this plasma goes with a higher speed in the direction of the arrow, the head. But as it moves, it comes in touch with other magnetic fields, and in the center there are other magnetic fields. If you have two similar magnets, you see if the size is the right way, what they do, they attract each other. What is this? What this attraction is? The attraction is like a tunnel. You have a tunnel, and what goes in the tunnel has to come out of the tunnel. So if you have a one-way tunnel in your place, in your city, you find out the cars cannot go through opposite way because it's one way. And this is how the magnetic fields are in any shape or form in plasma condition. So what comes out in interaction with the other fields in the environment, because the universe, there is nowhere in the universe that we can find no magnetic field. They are there, different strengths, different powers that they show themselves. So as the magnetic field comes out of this ring, it has to interact with the magnetic field which is going in here. So it's a one-way system, a tunnel. A car comes out of the tunnel and it has to go in another tunnel. It has no other choice because that's how it's been set. So what happens? So many fields come in from here to here, and they have two choices. if this one is in the same direction, so they can go in. So when they go in, whatever comes out of this one.
Broke off. Hello?
Oops, yes.
Rick?
Yes, we seem to have lost the Spaceship Institute again there for a brief time. I'm sure they'll reconnect.
This is thrilling.
Okay, we get to carry on our conversation from before, I guess, Kevin.
No, I just wanted to know your thoughts.
Oops, here he goes again.
You're back?
Yeah, every time Kevin and I try to get a conversation going here, you keep interrupting.
Do you want us to go back and come tomorrow morning?
No, that's okay. We'll go off somewhere else.
Have a nice coffee.
Thank you.
So what happens is that the fields attract each other, and what comes out of one has.
Okay, well, we'll just go with the flow here, and they might keep fading in and out. We only may get parts of this transmission as it comes out. Yeah, it might be a few minutes here. In the meantime, maybe we can carry on our conversation that we began earlier, or some other one. Okay, you were saying, Kevin, could you explain the situation?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your guys' conversation there.
Thank you. We're having a heck of a time getting your point across here.
Yeah. Have to apologize for all the technical delays.
Okay, so let's try it again. And Kevin, your question or situation that you're laying out there, maybe you can put it in an even more simple way so that the children can all understand as well as the children in us. Can you lay it out once again there while we have this interlude here?
This line of thought I had is that, when Mr. Keshe said all is interconnected, it made totally logical sense because, for a lot of people, it's, there's a lot of people that still don't, take it as granted that, we're not the only creations of the universe. And I think people are having a really hard time grasping the idea that, we are not, alone in this universe or in any other universe. And, it makes sense, when Mr. Keshe said, it's time, the time is over for all and any kind of religion, for any kind of dogma. And I think it's really about peace and abundance. And these were like the thoughts that somehow accompanied me the last few days. It's like in plain sight everything, but it's I'm just thinking, why is it so hard to accepting, the very core of our existence, the scientific core of our existence. So I thought maybe you might have some thoughts on that, When Mr. Keshe, repeats and repeats over and over again that everything is plasma, this is the reason why, why it's, I think, a really good idea, to start with kids, because these are the only ones who are still open-minded with their creative thinking and consciousness, and understanding that everything is made of fields, of, let's just call them, for the sake of easiness, just magnetic fields. Is that the very essence that, kids can understand, that magnetic fields that are all interconnected?
Well, I think it was in the previous workshop that Mr. Keshe showed the little connect doll, is that what it's called, with the various joints that move and so on, and each joint, and even in between the joints, there's these little balls that connect everything together. And he was giving the analogy that these balls were like the plasma fields that were that were atoms essentially, but they were the fields that were inside these round ball-shaped sort of atoms that were attracted to each other and so on. And that seemed like a good way to explain it. I think if I was a kid and had one of those dolls, I would go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Everything's connected, the same as these are connected, except they're little tiny wee ones instead of these big ones, you know. So I definitely could identify
Can you hear
with
us?
that. Yes, we hear you,
Yes.
Mr. Keshe.
Oh, we muted everything and we muted ourselves.
Yeah,
So
now we are back on.
just give us a few seconds. You see, you got to realize, as long as we are on, I can explain. And when we fall out, we go back on it later on. Is that children have totally different view about the creation and the created and the fields. So for us to be able to reach children to understand is to try to see and understand in what language we speak to them. And that's why I try to use toys and different things that children with it, they find association. It's very much like the video you showed last week. It reaches children in a very, very easy way. And in fact, there should be no difference for a child between a plasma of whatever we call plasma and orange. Or that's why I brought an orange, we were looking at it earlier on. Then we see that the reality is so in front of our children that they have forgotten what they see in reality and what they would like to understand. So in so many ways, we express ourselves we express ourselves in the wrong way. You're there? Okay, so we're going that way. So we have to find and speak the language of a child. And this will be, is that live stream on? Okay. So the child can understand what we're talking about. There's no use talking about the creation of the universe and how things came when a child cannot relate himself to it. The child plays with a magnet, sees a magnet on the fridge. He says, oh, in the world this is not this way, in the universe it's not this way. And in so many ways we see it even today. When you explain the logic in the language of the man will defend it because he understands what he understood is correct. We have a very serious situation at the moment with such a thing, where we explain the technology in detail fundamentally to the scientists, and when can you hear me?
You don't hear?
Can you hear me? So that the scientists at the highest level, when the government tries to lie to them, they immediately refuse to accept the position of the government, because they understood what they understood is correct and it's opposite to what they've been taught. And now it's time to defend it. We'll explain this in the coming days because we have accepted to stand to a certain kind of, what do you call it, withholding information till the time is right. So we have to do the same with children. We have to teach them the basic understanding of the creation of magnetic fields. In reality, what we said from the beginning, magnetic fields are not the way they see it. This is how they see magnets. We have to explain, in the universe, fields like this does not exist. Fields exist in the universe in a round shape, but up and rotating. In fact, a plasma to a child should be an orange in rotation, but it rotates all the time. Then a child understands, and if you can explain, this is the bottom where you see there is a hole. When there is a hole, you can put something in it. So in the whole end, the field goes through, and on the top end, when it's on the head, that's where the field comes out. So the child should understand this is it. If I put it like this, if I put the arrows which we showed earlier on one end, then the child understands this is the shape of a magnetic field. The field goes in and it has to come out. What goes inside this orange as energy has to be able to come out of this sphere, this orange. And whatever is kept inside is the energy which the child, by eating it, absorbs to his body. Then it makes sense to children. They understand. They can explain a plasma in the way it is in reality in their life. So we see this and we have to explain this way. For us to speak about creation and children in that level, even at 17, 18 years old, is too far-fetched. But if they understand the principle of the physics, understand the principle of the rotation, they understand in a simple way, if you have a magnetic ball, this ball has to interact, and this ball has to show some effect in respect to another magnet. And then we see what happens. And Armin was playing with some magnets this afternoon, just with the, can I have those? Because he was showing in a very nice way how magnets play with each other. Can I have the tissue, please? Because then you are safe. You see, this is what it is and how magnetic fields set to be.
Okay, perhaps you can ask if there is some questions, if all is clear, how they see the plasma, how the plasma looks, perhaps. Are you there, Nikolai?
Sorry, my audio was off.
No problem.
Така, до тук има ли някакви въпроси? Някой? Какво е плазмата? Ясно ли ви е? Може да задавате, ще провеждам, или ако мога, аз ще ви отговарям. There are no questions, Jackie. You can continue.
Okay, I have a questions.
Yes?
Why it's so important, like Mr. Keshe said every time, that now we need to manage our emotion, our thinkingness. Why it's so important?
Because, as long as I understand, you can control the plasma with your emotion. And you need to know how to interact with it.
Yeah, it's great. Can you translate this and perhaps ask some other students if they have some ideas?
Yeah. Въпрос, който Джаки зададе е защо господин Кеше каза, че в момента е момента, който трябва да знаем как да контролираме емоциите си. Някой, ако знае, може да се включи да каже. Или да пише, ще прочета, ще проведа на Джаки. Това, което аз отговорих е, че в една от лекциите, които аз срещнах, в някакъв етап ние ще може да контролираме един вид да взаимодействаме с плазмата и, както той каза, да я въртим без нужда от мотор. Само чрез емоции трябва да сме балансирани, за да може това нещо да се прави.
It's not a test, huh?
Yeah, I translated it. No questions for now.
Who wants to speak? Let them speak a little bit.
Някой иска ли да говори? Да се включи някой да даде идея или нещо подобно.
Let me just explain something. If nobody wants to speak, just 1 second.
Okay.
A plasma, it's a spherical shape, okay?
Плазмата има сферична форма.
Is rotating very fast.
Тя се върти много бързо.
It needs to send out some fields. It's millions and millions of these fields going out, okay?
Тя има нужда да извади част от тези полета и това са хиляди полета, които излизат от нея.
But everything going out need to coming in.
Но всичко, което излезне, трябва всъщност да влезне обратно.
Okay?
Yeah?
So, everything is plasma. So, are you a plasma or are you not a plasma?
Всичко е плазма. Ти не си ли плазма или си плазма?
Okay, I think we are plasma. So, if I'm there, I looks like a sphere around me. Okay, I'm not flat, I'm like a sphere. And everything I send out, like words, like a think, like emotion, everything's coming out from me needs to do what?
To come back.
Come back, exactly. So everything you...
Мен като звуци или емоции или каквото и да било, по някое време трябва да се върне обратно в мен. За пак аз съм една плазма. Yeah?
Exactly, needs to come back. So when I said to someone, for example, you are stupid, for example, what I send come back to me. I send this out and I receive that. I'm stupid.
And you will meet a person who is stupid.
Exactly. Absolutely. I feel happy. You create the emotion that you feel happy. You send this flow of energy. I feel happy. It's a need because it's a law in this universe. Everything coming out need to coming in. You know why Mr. Keshe every workshop said you need to learn to manage your emotion, to control your emotions?
Yes.
Okay. Why? Yep.
Само да обясня преди малко, понеже I need to explain because my microphone was off. Когато излъчвам енергия, примерно когато съм щастлив и го показвам, тази енергия излиза от мен, тези полета излизат от мен и защото имам нужда от тях. Един вид аз ги давам, но извън ще свършват и имам нужда да се презаредя. Те трябва да се върнат обратно в мен. So, yeah, you can continue, Jackie.
Okay, just want to precise that. I think it's important to understand from the beginning.
Yes, of course. Само искал да го обясня това. Мисля, че е важно, че да се знае това още от началото.
Okay, if there is no more comments or question, we continue.
I don't see any, so.
Okay.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. This is the shape of the plasma. If we can go on a black, they can see it easier. So this is the shape of the plasma, and what it does, Arman uses a very simple trick, and that is he has decided in his way what is going to be going in and what is going to be going out. And what he decides dictates the direction that the plasma will flow. If we get this here, you see the plasma will start rotating totally in a different direction and motion. The two magnets here, I'm going to get snapped. This is the best way. So what happened? The field comes out of line. It has to attract. If the field of a plasma is rotated, you can see, if you see my hand, I don't need to do anything. And I can get it to turn as many fast as you like, as much as you like. In so many ways, there is no petrol, there is no fuel. It's just the interaction of the fields. And you see how easy it is?
On plasma technology, this part, it's so important to understand this, you know.
Много е важно да разберете това.
Because this
Can
is
you
the,
please explain it again? This part, exactly.
yeah. If we, it's not so easy there, but we will, I think we can arrive here. Because here, up, we don't see nice, but here in the screen up, there is a magnet. And here, there is another magnet. On the camera, with our eyes, from all these parts, what we see nothing, you know? We said, but there is nothing between.
Имаме два магнита и всъщност между тях не виждаме нищо, но те все пак взаимодействат, да? Yes?
But if we understand, there is no nothing. There is what between the magnets.
Fields.
Exactly. This is
Полета между магнитите.
millions and millions and millions and millions of fields going like this and interacting with field of this one.
Милиони и милиони и милиони полета, които излизат от двата магнита отгоре и взаимодействат с магнита, който е по средата. И той същевременно също взаимодейства с тях.
And the rules is the stronger, so this one is the stronger,
Правето е, че по-силния диктува,
dictates to this one the direction.
диктува на този посоката.
So if he move this one need to follow the movement of this one.
И защото този е по-голям и ако го преместим, по-малкият трябва да го следва.
So if we take this example, if we imagine here is the sun, and here is the earth,
ето е Земята.
why the earth moving?
Защо Земята се движи?
Because she need to follow the direction dictated by the stronger gravitational magnetic field.
Защото има нужда да следи по-силните магнитно-гравитационни сили на Слънцето.
And this one dictates the rotation of this one.
И това диктува движението на това, Слънцето, на Земята.
Exactly as we see on the video when he moved this magnet, just by moving this magnet here, it's only the fields when interact, these are the stronger and they make moving the other one.
Също както виждаме на видеото с магнитите, т.е. защото е по-голям, движи по-малкия. И те взаимодействат.
And every time the same, we don't need to make the mistakes. This is like this. We need to see these fields. And this is why for the moment, so less people, and we have so many difficulties to understand, because for the moment, we doesn't see all these fields coming outside, because we look on the camera, we see nothing. We say between the two magnets, there is nothing. But yes, there is millions and millions and millions of fields.
И това е един от най-големите проблеми. Повече хора трябва да почнат да разбират, че там не, че няма нищо, а там има милиони и милиони полета, които излизат от един магнит, както той показва с кръгове.
And we need to learn to look at this where we think there is nothing, and start understanding there is something there.
И трябва да почнем да гледаме там между двата магнита и да разбираме, че там не, че няма нищо, а че има нещо.
And the best way to learn this plasma technology is to play with magnets.
И най-добрият начин да разберем тази плазмена технология е да си играем с магнити.
Mr. Keshe has more than 20,000 euros of magnets in Barletta.
Господин Кеше е купил магнити на стойност 20,000. 20,000.
Every experience you do, every construction.
Всяка конструкция. Can you repeat that?
Yes, every device he build.
Всяко устройство, което е сглобил.
Before he makes the simulation with the magnets to understanding which fields in which place.
Той използва магнитите за да разбере кое поле, как взаимодейства с другото.
Yes. Is it more clear?
Чувате ли ме?
Да. Yeah.
Аз имам един въпрос за магнитите.
Да.
Така, значи магнита е желязо, което има някакви магнитни свойства. Откъде идват тези свойства на магнита?
Тези в една от лекциите господин Кеше обяснява, че желязото на тази земя всъщност е физически магнит. И той реално погледнато на друга планета няма да има тези свойства. Просто при нас така се проявява. Тези магнитни полета всъщност са абсолютно също. Просто тук се проявява като материя. Така ги виждам. В смисъл, можем да взаимодействаме директно с него.
Да, има желязо, което не е магнит, а има друго желязо, което е постоянен магнит. Това като цяло те са желязо.
Нещо се изгубихме. He's asking about the magnets that they're made of iron, and there's type of magnets that type of iron that's not magnet, and there's other type that is active magnet.
Yeah, that's right. But what we need to learn, it's
he is asking why does the iron behave as both things, as a magnet, as a not magnet.
Yeah. The important question that now we need to understand, it's how we can make magnets for wood, magnets for plastics, magnets for everything. Because Mr. Keshe explained that when we understand the magnetic or gravitational fields, it's exactly the same. For the moment, we only understand with the iron, but we need to understand how to make a magnet for carbon, for example. And if you understand your CO2 kit, you understand that we create a magnet for carbon and we attract the carbon by producing the fields in your container, CO2 container, that will match the fields of the carbon, and you attract from the atmosphere. You attract the carbon. So we already have a magnet of carbon if you do your CO2 container.
Yes. Казва, че трябва да се научим да използваме плазмата като магнит, примерно за дърво или за стъкло, както примерно кутиите за CO2. Ти всъщност създаваш магнитно гравитационно привличане на въглерода, който остава просто в водата. Също трябва да се научим да правим с пластмаса, с дърво, с камък, с всеки един друг материал. Защото те
Can
са
I say something?
Sure.
Yes.
Actually, we are living magnets, and we can teach ourselves to attract different type of magnets. That's what the ancient magicians were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And for example, for transportation, what we need to learn, for example, he explained a lot of time, Mr. Keshe. Here you have the moon, for example. Here you have the planet Earth. And if for the moment you have something you have a resistance, you have a repulsion. And now we try to overcome these fields and to put so many energies to throw away, to go through this resistance. What we need to learn with this plasma technology, it's understand which are the fields of the moon, which is the condition of this, what is the plus and the minus, and if we can match the same as we attract the CO2, if we can match this condition, what's happened? It's exactly the same with the magnets. You just go through, boom. It's instantaneous. You get attracted.
Казва, че трябва да разберем как Земята и Луната си взаимодействат и да успеем да създадем условията, не да се опитаме с техника да пробием до там, през всички тези полета, а напротив да взаимодействаме с тях и да можем да правилните условия, както събираме CO2, така и ние да отидем на Луната.
But what we need to learn, it's not only one way, it's the two way, because when you arrive at destination, what you need to do? You need to reverse the engine. Why?
Because now you have to interact with
Because if you are attracted, these two magnets are attracted and you are too strong, the other is too strong, this magnet will break in so many pieces, you know, it will be splash.
Yes.
So at what time we need to reverse the flow and become more gravitational, more repulsion. So we slow down and we can go on the right place, you know, because if we can't reverse this, we will be scratched again. Approach. This is why we need to manage and understand how to become more gravitational or how to become more magnetical. How to attract more or how to repulse more. And this is this technology, how I can change my fields.
Това е цялата технология. Трябва да се научим как да станем по-магнетични или по-гравитационни, за да може да се позиционираме там, където искаме. Това е цялата технология.
I just want to show you an example of this because it's just what we are learning.
Искам само да ви покажа пример на това, което учим.
Let me just... Okay, I just need if you can allow me to show the camera.
How do I do that?
You have an option on the... Yeah, no problem. I will do in another way, no problem. Let's just 1 second. I will share a video that I have. Let me just open it.
Okay, what's this? I don't hear you.
I was muted, sorry.
Yeah.
So in the container, here you have 3 pieces. It's like some piece of wood, if you want, here, you know?
Така, тук имаме три парчета.
Here, this is some liquid.
Това е течност.
Normally, where does this piece need to go?
Къде би трябвало да отиде това парче по принцип? Нагоре.
Here, or they go here at the bottom?
If it's wood, it needs to go up. It floats.
Yeah,
Дървото плува.
yeah. But here, they don't go down or they don't go up. They stay in the middle.
В случая те не отиват нито нагоре, нито надолу, те остават по средата.
Some fields pushing in that direction, some field pushing on that direction. They found the balance, and the balance between the two makes this stay like starship in the sky.
Част от полетата го бутат нагоре, друга част го натискат надолу. Има и полета, които са отстрани и го позиционират в течността като звездна формация, като кораб. Извънземен кораб. Yes?
If you want that they go like this, what do you do?
Ако искате това да отиде нагоре, какво трябва да направите? We need to make the magnetic field stronger.
Exactly. You need to increase the magnetical. How you can increase the magnetical?
Трябва да увеличим магнитните сили. Как може да ги увеличим? How can we?
It's really easy.
Много е лесно.
If we take magnetical here, we take gravitational there. Sugar, for example, sugar, it's magnetical more or more gravitational?
I think sugar is magnetical.
Exactly. Sugar, it's magnetical. So if you add...
Salt is gravitational.
What?
The gas from salt is gravitational.
Sure, absolutely.
Газа от захар е магнитен, пък газа от сол е гравитационен.
So if I add into the container some salt gas, some salt solution, what will be the results?
It will rise.
Exactly. If I put, for example, some sugar, some more hydrogen, what will happen?
It will float. Yes.
If I stay basic, if I stay in a state of equilibrium with no direction, they will stay like this until I change the environment, until I change the condition, and this is how I can manage the fly.
Yeah. Ако ги оставя в... То всъщност в случай е игра на pH, защото солта и захарта, едното е алкално, пък другото е кисело. И явно едното е магнитно, а другото е гравитационно. Те позиционират, ако имаме идеално pH във водата, всъщност ще остане по средата. I explained it with the pH because when you put sugar, it's higher pH, and when you put salt, it's lower. Do you hear me, Jackie?
Yeah, but that, I don't understand the question. Sorry.
There's
He
no
means pH of the water.
yes, pH.
pH.
Okay, the pH.
Yeah, acidity or yeah, you know.
Yeah, the pH is every time the same. It's you can replace because it's every time the same concept. If you take pH or you take McGrath, it's exactly the same. Or you take the emotional state or whatever, the happiness. Here you, for example, you have the happiness, and here you have the sadness. Here you have the pH, you have the base, alkaline. Every time I don't remember where is what. It's basic. Here you have the basic, and here you have the alkaline. Here you have the gravitational, and here you have the McGrath. NaOH, it's there. NaOH, it's 14. Acid, hydrochloric acid, it's 1. Sugar is something like here, and salt is somewhere like here. Citrus and every different elements.
Да. pH-то е всъщност магнетизма или гравитацията. Спрямо това как го променяме. Имаме солна киселина, пък отдолу имаме основа.
But what is really interesting, it's when we look at the container, we look in a flat line, like flat magnet.
Ние го разглеждаме като плосък магнит. Го виждаме отпред. Yes.
But we need to look at something like this.
А всъщност трябва да го разглеждаме ето така.
Because nothing is flat, everything is spherical. And
защото не е плоско, всичко е сферично.
We don't see very well, but here you can see this shape, this kind of shape, you know.
Не се вижда много добре, но може да забележите тази форма ето тук.
And one is going like that, yeah, and the other is going in the other way.
Едното се движи в тази посока, а другото се движи в момента в тази посока. Това е магнитно, а другото е гравитационно.
We increase one or we decrease the others. This is the only things we need to understand on the plasma technology, how to increase one, how to decrease the others.
Трябва да се научим всъщност плазмата технология как да увеличаваме едното или да намаляваме другото. Това е значение.
And the more we go up and the more we go down in the other side, the more interaction and play and strengths we can play with, because we have now the full range and we can dictate and decide where we want to go.
Като се научим да си играем с пехато, с магнитно-гравитационните полета, може да решим точно къде искаме да се позиционираме или къде искаме да позиционираме парченцата клечки, дървени клечки в водата в момента.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to illustrate, this is one field, one magnet, if you want, pushing in one side, another pushing in the other side, interacting with these fields. They found the balance and they stay in the position. They don't move.
Само да разясня, че от тук има отдолу минават полета и отгоре също има полета, които също позиционират по средата. Балансират го.
We think they don't move. They're moving so fast.
Ние си мислим, че те се движат, но те също се движат толкова бързо.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions? Някакви въпроси? Дали има някой?
All right, so we continue a little bit.
Okay.
So what happened? The field comes out of water. It has to attract. If the field of a plasma is rotated, you can see, if you see my hand, I don't need to do anything. And I can get it to turn as many fast as you like, as much as you like. In so many ways, there is no petrol, there is no fuel. It's just the interaction of the fields. And you see how easy it is? We can rotate, we can jump, we can see how the fields can play with each other. This is good when you have assistant, the finger of Almond and my fingers. So you see you can create motion. And then the child understands. Call this in the middle, Earth. Call this in the middle, the sun. Call this an atom. So the child understands there is no motor in the plasma. It's the field which is inside it. When it interacts with other fields, it makes it to move. So now you try to tell the student, a child at any age, you need a fuel tank and you need a motor. He says, I can move because plasma moves without a motor. I can do the same. I can decide I'm going back. I can push. I can attract. You can do anything you like with it. So this is, you can roll it. You can roll it back. You can roll it forward. So a child has to understand that magnets, like she sees or he sees on the fridge, is made to be very much, as we said, for a toy, not the reality in the universe. So they see this as a magnet and it stays in their head. And they always associate a magnet with a flat sticking on the metal. This is what we have to teach. If we start showing them the alternative to this, this is very much look at it. There's a ball. They have, all of the children nowadays get these balls free or in different toys. To them, this is a ball. But if they understand that this ball, if you open it, has nothing in it, then this is very much the structure of their plasma. You see, the child understands automatically it's empty inside. But where the field comes to slow down enough, it becomes matter. Okay?
Imagine this is your brain or your head. If we open up your head or your brain, it's quite empty. But the true plasma sits there. Your head, your brain, it's like this ball. It's the shell of the egg, like we said, we see in the last previous kids workshop. When we open up, the center, it's an hollow space. It's nothing, it's non-tangible, it's non-matter inside. But all the strands, all the fields is coming from this part. When they slow enough, it's become matter, it's become your skin, it's become your bones. But imagine if you open your head, it's exactly like he explained with this ball. Important to understand.
The hands, the feet, but millions and millions of them. So we have to clarify this for the children first. The video you made, the animation last week, was so precise. It was so exact and it was so easy. And it brought a lot of truth home. And then the children have to understand, after a while, when this plasma is rotating, it loses its energy. It's like when you eat in your food. When the food is finished, you feel hungry. You have two things: you have to eat more, or you have to share your food with somebody or somebody's food that it can survive. So what the plasma does, it actually spreads open. That's all it does. The plasma, in a very funny way, it breaks up into pieces. It totally breaks up. It opens up. Well, in the process of opening up, this is what happens to it: fragments, pieces, and more pieces, and then more pieces. And then there is nothing left but pieces. Then these pieces come together again. So this is what you're going to get. And then when these pieces come together, they come in two different sizes, one bigger and one smaller. So what you're going to get is very similar to this position. You had a very big one. Now you have a little bigger one and a little smaller one. Then this is what we call becomes the atom. When this blows up, it just loses its balance. Then it becomes a bigger and a smaller. But what happened now is exactly the same. It's exactly the same process. Now you have two magnets, which is like this. One bigger, one smaller. But now we don't have a smaller one, we show it as the same. Well, these two will have a connection with each other. They are connected because there is a brother and sister. I rotate this, the other one has to rotate. I rotate this, the one has to rotate.
But at this time, you need to understand that this one, it's like we said before, it's one, it's bigger, and the other one.
Това, което трябва да разберете в момента е, че едното е по-голямо като това, другото е по-малко като това.
The other one is smaller.
Другото е по-малко.
This one is the stronger.
Това е по-силното.
And this one is the weaker.
Това е по-слабото.
So, which one dictate what?
Кое диктува какво ще се случва?
Every time it's the stronger who dictates to the weaker.
Винаги е по-силното диктува какво ще се случва на по-малкото.
So this one will be the boss.
Това ще бъде шефа.
But don't forget one thing. Who is the real boss?
The universe
is there.
The stronger does not mean the bigger always, right?
No, right. Because these two becomes from that, from the mother. And the mother dictates. Because these two are just the open up of this one become these two.
И всъщност това, което е тук, е майката, тя диктува какво ще се случи с другите, защото тя е най-голямата. Това е Вселената, а това е Слънчевата система.
But he opens up, all these pieces become this and this. So the problem for the man, it's no, we doesn't see anything there. And we said, oh, there is nothing, it's empty, it's a hollow space, there is nothing there.
И проблема е, че те се отварят и стават по-малки. Ние виждаме вътре и казваме, там няма нищо. Там е празно.
But here sits the mother, the creator, the source.
Майката на създателя на източника.
And this source was exactly the same.
Е абсолютно същия.
Was the result of the split of a bigger plasma who was splitting two.
И резултат от разделението на по-голяма плазма.
And this one is the result of the same, of a bigger plasma was split to two.
И това е резултат от разделението на по-голяма плазма.
So who dictates?
Кой диктува?
It's the mother of the mother of the mother of the mother. Because they are the strongest.
Майката на майката.
Yeah. You understand?
Yes.
So bigger and stronger are synonyms in this case.
Yeah, but you can see it's really difficult because you need to imagine here there is nothing, you know?
Yeah.
Because these pieces there, all these pieces, now they are making that and that. So here, if we want, it's not bigger because it's nothing if we want. It's not something tangible, it's not something physical, you know? It's just the source, it's just the creator, the basic. And this is the stronger. But is not bigger in a matter state, because in matter state it's nothing.
Но
You
не е
know,
по-голяма по отношение на материята, ами по отношение на големината на силите, защото материята също не е нищо.
And now I think you will understand. If I wrote this, I wrote proton and I wrote electron.
Ще е по-лесно да ви обясня, като напиша протон и електрон.
What is this? What is one proton? What is one electron? First element on this planet, hydrogen. Hydrogen is one, so it's one proton and one electron.
Какво е един протон и един електрон? Кой елемент на нашата Земя е един протон и един електрон? Водорода, той е първият елемент. Значи той има един протон и един електрон.
And what is deuterium? Deuterium?
И какво е deuterium? It's
double protons. It has two protons.
It's 111.
It has three protons, right?
No, it has one proton, one electron, and one neutron. And here you have the magical, you have the balance as a new plasma. You have exactly the same as the same position at that. You have the balance. If you put some energy off you, or you add, or you giving less, you will have a disbalance, and you allow the split, the open up of the plasma, and you will get something. You will get something like that. You will have the split, and you will get some, for example, what is tritium? Tritium, it's two, let me just... Tritium, it's two neutrons, one proton, and one electron. So you add, you have the split, you have one proton more to allow the split, and then you will then have the helium, it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, because now you have the split. And then you will have all the elements who were splitting again and again and again in that side. Or when you are in that state, deuterium, you can go in a matter state, dividing, 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 or you can go in a field strength, in the GANs, in the plasma state, where you are not dividing, but you are coming back to the source. and back to the source together, and back and back and back and back and back. You understand?
Okay.
Return to the God.
Yeah, to the creator, the source, yeah, the God particle. Yeah. And in deuterium, here in deuterium, when you have 1, 1, 1, you are in the balanced state. Here you decide if you want to go.
В туалетната ли? Добре.
Или си трябва звука?
You decide if you want to go in that part, in the fields, or you decide you want to go in that part, in the matter state.
Вие решавате ли да отидете в тези полета, горе или в полета, които са в материята?
Okay. Is it clear?
Ясно ли?
Perhaps you can just close the mic for the moment, participants, and close the mic.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, if we continue.
Yes. Продължим.
And then the one which is bigger becomes the boss. So as this rotates around, the other one has to rotate with it, but in different formation. And then this, in this formation, this is what we call, in terms of physics, we call it an atom. So when a big plasma splits into a smaller and a bigger plasma, slightly smaller and bigger, now you become from one plasma to two plasma. And then this is the atom. And now we come from plasma science into physics. Because there's a huge difference in world of science. There's a big difference, as much as there is between biology and chemistry, there is difference between plasma technology and atomic physics, or what we call physics. Plasma is plasma. Physics, as we call it physics, is a structure between atoms. And then when you put more of these atoms together, in a way, now you become in the realm of biology, chemistry. So you come from plasma to physics, now 4 of them becomes chemistry, and then when you add 2 more to it, you become biology. So a child can see in a parameter what is what. So you never talk about physics with the biology, how they are connected. So it's the same. You never speak about plasma and physics. Plasma has to be spoken on its own term because it has its own property, its own behavior, which, when 2 plasmas come together, show behavior of interaction, and then you find what we call physics. Then, as you said, when you get 2 of them, 2 small and 2 big ones coming together, now the 4 make what we call chemistry, because they have to interact with each other chemically. In a way, they have to share each other. What happens in chemistry is that the little plasma says, okay, you can have mine, I'll have yours, and then we're all connected. And then when you add a 3rd one to it, another atom, let's say this is what we call oranges and these are apples. Now when we add a coconut, and with a smaller coconut, and it says, okay, you give me that one, I give you this one, and everybody gets mixed up. And now you come to biology. There is a further addition, which then it becomes what we call intelligence, but it's too much for children to understand.
This is capital to understand this. What is wrong with biology? Nothing. What is wrong with chemistry? Nothing. What is wrong?
Няма.
What is wrong with nuclear physics?
Грешно в ядрената физика.
Nothing.
Нищо.
This is why the plasma technology, it's not a revolution. We are not fighting against physics, chemistry, and biology. We are just adding to the knowledge and going to the next step.
Ние не се борим с твърдението на химията, биологията или физиката. Ние просто добавяме към тях.
And we need to understand that when we speak regarding the plasma, we are not talking about that because it's different things. Nothing is wrong with that.
Плазма не става въпрос за физика, химия или биология. Тях нищо им няма.
Nothing is wrong with all this, but it's a new knowledge. It's the next step. So we don't speak the same. And if you understand that, and if you understand plasma, it's not one, but it's three. It's a plus, it's a minus, and it's a neutron. And at the same time, you have the three properties. You have understand the plasma technology more as the PhDs. Yeah, really important to understand this.
So, in fact, first thing we have to do, we have to clarify to a child what we are talking about. We spoke about the plasma last time, and now we see the number of plasmas. When they interact, we as human beings, over time given them different names. One is called Susan, one is called Julie, one is called Alan. But in fact, when we say Susan, it means there's a girl. If we call it the Alan, we know it's a boy. Now, in the plasma technology, in the physics, in chemistry or biology is the same. Then the interaction between the plasmas decides where we go. This is one of the biggest problems in the world of science, because plasma is something which we have come across in the past maybe 30, 40 years. We have not had the understanding to give it its own house. And this is where most of the problem with technologies like us comes into operation, because people cannot understand what is the plasma and what is atom, because plasma is on its own a technology. Physics is a technology of mixing of two plasmas. Chemistry is the interaction of at least 4 plasmas, 2 big ones to a small one. If you have 2 hydrogen, we call it a molecule, because that's the terminology. And then if you had another dimension to it, that all get mixed up, and nobody knows who it is, but together we are one cell, this is what we call biology. And usually in biology, we see at least minimum 4 atoms, because there is a reason for it. When you have an atom, 4 of them in the biology, one needs to hold everybody together. So the heavy one goes in the middle. Says, okay, I'm heavier, I can hold all of you with hand. One says, okay, I want to communicate with the others that we see where we are. So that becomes the communicator. One says, I know how to bring energy, then becomes another element. And one says, oh, I have enough energy. If you shake me, I can shake and everything falls off. So now we make what we call a molecule of the human race, what we call amino acid. So in reality, this is how simple it is. But as we understood the science over centuries, and a lot of people who were understood it wanted to make it very complicated to show them they're very intelligent, they made it more and more complicated. And now we make it simple. You have a plasma, and that plasma is a very, very, very simple thing. It holds, as we said, inside it last time, if you remember, magnetic fields. So the other version of what you see as a color ball is this. So what happens? There we are. If you can see this, or I'll bring it more in that you can see it. This is now this inside with the magnetic fields, curly fields. And then this curly field has to interact. Now this is a smaller one, and this one is a bigger one. So it needs to interact with the big brother. That it's there, they came from the same mother. So now you see it splits to a big and a small, as you saw in atom. There is no difference. This way, when we look at it with the white balls, we call it physics. When we see it in a clear ball that we know what's going on inside the ball, we call it plasma technology. And then these fields inside each other has to connect up. Then this becomes plasma as gravitation and magnetic, because as you saw, magnets do things. They come together or they go away from each other. In terminology, we call them, because to look very clever, we have created a name for them. We call them gravity. Gravity is when you hold each other, you gravitate towards each other, you come together. So if the magnet comes together, you see it, now it's gravity. And this is the simplicity of it. So now we have a bigger brother and a smaller brother. If you can see it, they gravitate towards each other. And if I can show it with this, wow. Now you see a big and a small. And you see how they come together. So now we explained the plasma in the past programs. Now we understand the plasma. What is plasma? When plasma reaches interaction, that it has to interact with another plasma, you enter at the point of tangibility, world of physics. And then it becomes totally different ballgame. It becomes all understood. Plasma is the way the universe works. Matter and physics is the way the man works. And in the universe, we don't see very much matters unless small fraction, they slow down enough that they show themselves.
Is it becoming more clear, the plasma technology?
If you explain it, it will become more clear.
It's what, sorry?
If you explain it in your way, it will become more clear.
Yeah, I can, yeah. We will try perhaps to here look at that way. Here you are on the plasma state. Here this is, yeah, non-tangible, non-physics.
Няма физика.
Here you have the name. How it's calling? It's called physics.
Тук си има, как го наречем? Наречем го физика.
It's atomic physics.
Атомна физика.
But on that part, we are on the physicality.
Но в тази част сме в физическото.
Just before, when you have 4 atoms or 4 plasma, carbon, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, you become on COHN, planet Earth.
Когато имате водород, кислород,
and how these four elements then mix together,
и спрямо това как те се съчетаят,
it's the biology.
става биологията.
Man until today has understand so many things until that point.
И сега човек е разбирал толкова много неща до тук, до физиката.
Why Mr. Keshe is there to go now to go here?
Господин Кеше ни отвежда отвъд физиката.
We go outside the physicality. We need to look no more in the physicality,
Излезем от физическото. Не е нужно вече да го гледаме.
we need to look inside in the fields. And
Трябва да
this is
погледнем вътре в полетата.
and we need to learn how to play with these fields, not with the ball. For the moment, we are playing with the balls.
В момента играем с топките, ние всъщност трябва да играем вътре с тези полета, които са в.
Mr. Keshe is explaining us now how to play not with the ball, not with the matter state. We need to play with the fields.
Не да взаимодействаме с материята, а всъщност с плазмата, която е вътре. Тези полета.
And yeah, sorry.
Yes?
And this is the opening of the plasma technology, of the space travel, zero communication, zero space-time travel, because we go outside the boundary of the physical universe.
И това също е отварянето на границите към комуникацията без устройства. Пътуването без нуждата от технология. No?
Mr. Keshe said it's so simple, but it will take 100 years to the man to understand this.
Толкова е просто, че ще отнеме 100 години на човека да го разбере.
So it's normal if it's not all clear for the moment.
Значи е нормално, ако не ви е ясно всичко.
But if we just understand for the moment, here, when we see at the balls in that shape, we are on the physics.
Че всъщност, когато видим топките в тази форма, ние сме в физическото.
When we look on that part, with the fields inside, we enter the world.
Тази част с полетата вътре.
And why it's so difficult to understand?
Защо е толкова трудно да го разберем?
Because today we doesn't see these fields. We can't see with our eyes these fields.
Ами не ги виждаме тези полета.
So we need to understand something that we can't see.
Така че е нужно да разберем нещо, което не виждаме.
And this is why it's so difficult to understand for the man.
И затова е толкова трудно човек да го разбере.
And when Mr. Keshe is speaking regarding that, every time as we are speaking regarding that.
И всеки път, когато говорим по отношение на това, когато господин Кеше говори по отношение на това, ние говорим също по отношение на това.
It's like if I speak English and you speak Chinese.
Едно, когато вие с едно аз говоря английски, пък вие говорите китайски.
We don't will understand together.
Ние няма да се разбираме.
I need to learn the plasma language.
Нужно ми е да науча езика на плазмата.
To understand Mr. Keshe.
За да разбера господин Кеш.
And Mr. Keshe is speaking one languages. He is speaking the language of the universe.
Господин Кеше говори на един език, на езика на Вселената.
Here, from that point, we are speaking the language of the man.
За в момента говорим езика на човека.
And we need to learn the language of the universal community.
И ни е нужно да научим езика на
How they speak? They
космическото
speak,
население. Как те говорят, те как комуникират.
they speak with field interaction.
Те общуват с взаимодействие на полета,
Not with words.
не с думи.
And this is why we have so much to learn.
И затова имаме толкова много да учим.
This is why we have all this private teaching in the KFSSI.
Затова имаме тези частни лекции в Техническия институт,
Because it's a lot to learn.
защото е доста за усвояване, научаване.
Okay.
Окей, добре.
We continue 10 minutes.
Продължаваме още 10 минути. Окей, we continue.
Okay, perfect.
Very, very small amount of plasmas that slow down enough that can be seen. It's like when you play hide and seek. As long as you can run and you cannot be caught and you can hide, you are plasma. Once you're discovered, you become matter, you become physics. And this is where a lot of children go wrong and physics become complicated. Then we can see the world of science finds new ways to teach, to learn, and to share knowledge. One of the biggest problems with our children at the moment in the schools, be it from the first day they go to nursery to come out as even professors out of the university, is that they have to protect what they've been taught, even if it's lie and wrong. Because once they accepted it, they have to defend it. Because otherwise, you're stupid, you accepted the wrong thing. And then this is what we find dogmas of peer reviewing and people saying what we say is correct and the rest of what we've seen in the world of science in the past 200 or 300 years. And then knowledge finds value because you have to protect it. Then people find out knowledge has value as long as it is within the plasma of the earth. You cannot sell a Mars bar or you cannot sell a bar of chocolate to the man in the space because sweetness has no taste to the man in space. It's only for man because of his physicality. You cannot say to somebody from another planet, I'll give you a can of Coca-Cola. To him is meaningless because he cannot drink liquid. Because his fields are different. His fields are more into the center than on the edge. If his fields become further out than become yours, then he can enjoy a Coca-Cola. That's all it is. This is where children have to be brought in to understand and not be confused. And the people who teach physics in the school, because they were taught the wrong way, they still carry on with the same thing. Because what we say, I'm a teacher, I know better, puts everything in jeopardy. And then we see what's going on and what the process is. In time, then we understand, we come to understand where the magnetic fields come from, what is the creation, because now we understand the simple structure of the plasma. A single plasma is plasma technology, plasma physics. When plasmas interact, they interact totally different way than when the matter interacts. Because when you're in one of these wires here in the middle, you haven't become a sphere yet. So you will behave different way, you behave like the wires. But when you have become a totality sphere at the end, you have to behave what the plastic tells you, because that's the end, according to your assumption. So we try to open the world of science in a very, very simple way. You look through the ball, there is nothing in it, because that's a plasma. And when it becomes weak enough, it can be seen, then at that point it becomes matter. And the whole understanding goes how matter goes. I brought you something which has been years and years in the foundation, and we started showing it a few years ago, and a lot of people see and they don't understand. And that is, this is a very simple explanation. This is how a plasma is. It's a ball, and I don't know if you can see the water liquid inside it. From the little black things, I bring it forward if it can be seen. You see little sticks. These little sticks are the fields which are coming out. And then in the water till they get to the wall, and at the wall they become matter. So this is a plasma. But we play with a different way in the adult world. And we feed it because it's a magnetic field. It can join up with some, and the ones who doesn't like, he rejects. It's very much like in the classroom. The children you like to play with, you play games with. And the ones you don't like, you reject and you don't play with. The same thing happens with, the same thing happens in the plasma technology. The ones who want to join of the same, then they join up and they play. And the ones who are not of the same, or they don't like to be in that position, they reject each other. And this is exactly what you do in your classrooms with your friends and your people you don't like, is the behavior of a plasma. And if you have more and more people around you, the stronger team you become. It's exactly the same. When the plasma absorbs more and more, the stronger it becomes. And that's all it is. And then the whole start of the creation and created the start. Then you don't ask the question, what is the magnetic field and where was it created? It's a bit of all the fields which come together and they can play. It's like if you're in the second class, you play with your mates, and sometimes you go and play maybe with one friend in the third class or the fourth class. Because he understands you, he has some strength or understanding your level, even though he was at your level before. The year ago, when you're in the second class, he was in the second class. Now he's a bit older, he goes to the third class, but you still can play with both your mates and the one's up. So, if you want to understand the structure of plasma, look at it in your classroom. The ones you like to play with, you come together to play together. So we call it gravity, you gravitate to each other. The ones you don't like, because they don't think about the same, they don't play with the same toys, and they don't watch the same cartoons as you do, and you have nothing in common, you refuse to play with them because there's nothing in common between you and them, then they become magnetical field, which means you reject. And the fields are the same. You play or you reject. And that's all it is. This is the plasma. This is the way scientists have to, and teachers have to start teaching children. And then when you speak, when you think in the future, you won't think about the fish. Because fish is a flat. You think about an orange, which can rotate on its axis. So this is how we end up this session, and I hope we open your eyes a little bit more in the world of reality and creation. But as time goes in the future programs, we'll teach you more, that hopefully within the year you know as much as your parents do. So, any question?
Kevin, is there any questions from your end there? Have there been any questions from kids or mothers or other people in the universe, or from yourself, perhaps?
Well, no, I just wanted to thank you. It really makes me understand, beginning to understand, and I think that's the most important thing too, because, as you said yourself, Mr. Keshe, we're all children. So, yeah, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
And how do you see it continuing, Mr. Keshe? It would be along similar lines with carrying on from where we left off, I guess, with the maybe we'll have an apple instead of an orange nenext time. We'll evolve.
Evolve, yeah. The next time I'll bring you watermelon. It'll be big enough.
Okay, that'll be the sun, I guess, the big sun.
The watermelon, the other one will be an orange like electron. So get it. So, children have a line of teaching to children is through their stomach. And orange and fruits is something they relate with, so we try to choose different fruits. The first time I brought an egg, and this egg has been here for nearly 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. And soon will be chicken coming out with a chick. So we have to be reachable for the children to understand. Don't forget the forces outside are very strong to say to the children, you're wrong. But if we sow the seed of the correct technology and science, then we'll see what happens. As you've seen in past 24 hours, we have shown some amazing performances from plasma. And we've seen how weights and masses can be changed with little than 1 gram or 10 grams. Because you have to show things to children. Children want to see to believe in a way they can play with it.
And just to remind people, that would be at the Spaceship Institute live stream, which is on the same Spaceship Institute live stream channel as this Kids Knowledge Seekers Workshop. So people can tune in to the live feed from the lab with the reactors going on there now. It's quite exciting for those of us who've been following that.
Okay, so we'll see each other at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Right.
Yes.
Once again.
Okay.
Добре. Някакви въпроси по темата? Някой? Да, кажи ми, Лене. Ако искаш, може да се включиш да питаш на български, аз ще му преведа, ако искаш, може да го напишеш.
Ало?
Да, здравей.
Здравей, искам да попитам, има ли разлика между гравитация и магнетизъм и ако има, каква е?
Is there a difference between gravitational and magnetical, and if there is, what it is?
Yeah. The most easiest way to explain it's attracting and repelling.
Най-лесният начин, по който може да го обясним е привличане и отблъскване.
One attract, like the two magnets, the gravitational two magnets will match together. They will make one.
Ако имаме два магнита и те са
And when you
ще се привличат и ще станат едно.
And when you go in the other direction, for example, if you have a magnet like this, and you have a magnet like that. Here you have, for example, plus and plus.
Ако имаме два магнита и имаме плюс и плюс, както той в момента рисува,
they will repel each others.
те ще се отблъснат един от друг.
If you reverse it,
ако ги обърнем,
and for example, here you have a minus, and here you
минус,
and here you have plus,
минус и плюс,
you will become, they will go like this.
те ще се сблъскат. Няма разлика между магнетизма и гравитация, те са едно и също нещо, просто има вход и изход. Тези полета, които имат вход и изход, там където влизат, те са гравитационни, те се привличат, там където излизат са магнетични, те му сблъскват. Магнитите имаме плюс и минус.
So they attract, they gravitate together, so it's gravitation.
Те гравитират или се привличат, затова е гравитационно.
And in that part, it's a repulsion.
И в този случай е отблъскване. или магнетизъм.
Yeah, so it will be the magnetism. If you repels, it's magnetism. If you attract, it's gravitational.
Ако се отблъскваш е магнетизъм, ако привличаш е гравитация.
I am from the Barcelona, the Barça. The other guy are from the Real Madrid.
Има човек, който е от Реал Мадрид.
You attract or you repel. The people who are for the Real Madrid going there and for the Barca is going there. And if you put together, they don't want to join and they don't mix.
Да. Едните са от Барса, другите са Реал и случайно, ако ги сложиш на едно място, те няма да взаимодействат, няма да се приближат, няма да гравитират, ще се отблъскат, ще има магнитно поле между тях.
Тоест, ако аз съм симпатичен, значи съм гравитационен, така ли да го кажа?
Да, точно така. He said, so if I'm handsome and someone likes me, I'm more gravitational. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is exactly the same. You have a man and you have a woman.
И това е абсолютно същото име, право мъж и жена.
And if you have the same field, the same strengths, you get attracted.
И ако има същите сили, те ще се привличат.
And if it's love, if it's you will these two plasma will join together and you will have a new plasma coming in.
И ако е любов, тези две плазми ще се седят, ще имат нова плазма или дете.
Because you have one more magnetical and more one gravitational, but if you put one man with one man, they can love each other perhaps, but you can't have this, you know, because they are the same.
Да. Затова ако имате два мъже, те са двамата са положителни, да кажем, и също няма как да взаимодействат, да образуват трето, няма как да се разделят.
Plus doesn't meet together.
Два плюса не се събират. Те може да се харесват, но няма как да има.
And if we understand in that way, because now I think you will start understanding the really good manner. It was the first session we gave for the Bulgarian people. You remember we speak regarding the nano-coating?
Първата лекция на български, ако помните, ставаше въпрос за наноматериала.
And we said this is, for example, copper.
Кажем, че това е мед.
So all these particles are gravitational.
Са гравитационни.
So if it's gravitational, they come together, they join together, they mix together.
Ако са гравитационни, те се привличат, те се сливат, те се смесват се.
It's like if you take one magnet with one magnet.
Също е като вземем един магнит и още един магнит и още един магнит.
And all these magnets makes one piece together.
И всички тези магнити правят едно цяло парче.
But if we look at it, there is a lot of different magnets mixed together.
Но ако погледнем, те са също са множество магнити, които са слепени или се привличат, гравитират.
When we add some energy,
когато добавим малко енергия,
for example with fire or caustic,
с огън или с основа,
we reverse the flow. Now they repulse, they found the balance.
Се отблъскват и търсят баланс.
So they don't attract, but they repulse. Now they can't join together, you know, because we have created this space.
Защото сега в момента не могат да се ние сме създали това разстояние между тях.
But there is still a connection between the two.
Но все още има връзка между двете.
When we make the last step with the salt solution, NaCl,
Последната стъпка с солния разтвор,
every single one of these magnets,
всеки един от тези магнити,
now they are free.
сега са свободни. Те се отделят.
And now they behave exactly like a sun, like a plasma. Now they can radiate the fields and we can play with these fields.
И сега те са свободни да излъчват тези полета и ние да си играем с тях. Да му действаме с тях.
Is exactly if we have take every of these magnets and now all these magnets we can play.
Всички тези магнити.
And we can decide how we want to put them together or not, or how we want to position these magnets.
И да решим дали искаме да ги сложим всички заедно или да ги позиционираме така, че да взаимодействат.
Because now we are free, we have the choice, we dictate
Сега сме свободни и ние определяме
the way we want to play with these magnets.
начинът, по който искаме да играем с тези магнити.
So this is why we go back through this kids workshop, because was the first session and perhaps we need to understand more about the plasma. So this is why we make these 3 previous kids workshop.
Разглеждаме тези лекции, за да може да всички да имаме еднакво ясно за какво става въпрос.
And I hope you have a better understanding.
И се надявам, че сте разбрали по-добре.
Done 3 weeks before. You know, I don't want to say you have understand everything on plasma.
Yes, of course. По-добре, отколкото преди 3 седмици да го разбирате.
But I hope it's more clear than the first time, then we go through this.
Надявам, че е по-ясно, отколкото в началото. Някакви други въпроси?
And I really want to thank Nikolai to the translation. It's a lot of work to translating, and he make a beautiful work.
Благодаря на Никола за помагането с преводите. Това е много добра трудна работа.
And it was a real good pleasure to me to be there today.
И за мен беше голямо удоволствие днес да участвам в лекцията. It was a pleasure for us too. Thank you for joining and explaining things in detail.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me. Okay. If there is a last question, and then perhaps if the people want to share some experience, I can let you and you can perhaps share your experience, or I don't know. Or you want to close the session, like you want.
Въпроси или някой да сподели нещо, което му се е случило, карал да се плазма или нещо подобно. Мнение и гледна точка.
It's like you want. Me, I will let you, and this is on your hand, Nicola, like you want.
Jackie, thank you for joining us tonight, and hope we hear you again on Sunday.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Ако има още някакви въпроси, ако не, може да приключим за тази вечер. Добре. Добре, за мен няма въпроси, така че това ще бъде за тази вечер. Благодаря ви, че участвахте в лекцията на български. И няма защо, пак заповядайте. Радвам да се чуем примерно в Skype и да обсъдим дали някой може да поеме още някакви неща за правене. Но в момента пожелавам приятна вечер и се чуем пак. Ами ако искаш относно маграф устройство, може да задаваме въпроси в Skype или...
Да. Може в Skype там на... Става въпрос, защото ние сега говорим по определени теми.
Ами
Дали
да,
може
защото те са тематични. И особено Джак, като помага така отстрани, е много по-лесно. Вижте, даже той се опитва да не се отклонява от темите.
Добре.
Записва, да.
Окей. Добре.
Така че, благодарим ви и приятна вечер.